I'm Ryan Basore from Redemption Cannabis.
And I'm Kevin Pybus with TrueCannabis.
Kevin, I always like to, I like the history of Michigan marijuana. Been living it for so long, and we've come so far. I met you. Yeah, I got a call from you, and I think it was early 2016, kind of out of the blue. And why don't you kind of explain explain how that happened and how that came to be?
Well, so we joined the NCIA in 2016, and they had their annual caucus in Chicago that year. And so I made the trip out to Chicago and went to the event. Ran into Mark Passerini,
Yep.
who is the owner of Alm at the time, and we got to chit-chatting about different things. And he had mentioned that he had somebody that he was using for his social media, and so he gave me your number, and I gave you a shout, and kind of went from there.
It is. Now you were always real supportive. I had heard about you, Canasur, as I got out of prison late 2015 and started getting immediately back immersed into what was going on in Lansing and the state. A lot had changed, a lot of new people.
Yeah.
I'd heard that you guys were some Colorado guys, but you had really good flower, and but then I got the call, and you're always supportive of ended up building you an app. Mobile app, website, and help with social media, Instagram, all that stuff, and it went well. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
One thing that you always did too was always supported, whether it be me telling you we got a fundraiser for Dana Nussel and need help, or is it a city council race or whatever it was. You always were right there supporting, and I always saw you at meetings. So tell me about why, what made you focus so much on the importance of activism and change and being at all these industry events.
Well, what it really comes down to is that for a long time I was afraid to step out and put my neck out there and let people see who I am because of the negative connotations that roll with the industry. I didn't want my family thinking that I was like some kind of drug dealer or any of that kind of stuff, so I was hesitant for a long time, especially when I lived in Colorado doing that. When I moved back from Colorado, I kind of missed the boat in Colorado with not knowing the laws, not knowing the rules, not knowing the timelines, and it really put me up against a really bad disadvantage there to try to get a license in Colorado. So when I came back to Michigan, Michigan was about 5 years behind Colorado's market, and it provided me the opportunity to really get involved at the ground level, and I knew that it was going to be important to be a part of these industry associations, part of the trade groups, and try to get as much information as I could to give me an advantage moving forward with licensing and all that.
Cool. The one thing I know when I first got involved in Michigan medical marijuana activism, real activism, and the politics was late 2009, and it was easy to find the other 10 or 15 people in the state doing it,
Right.
and Bill Schuette got elected and really tried to wipe us out, wipe out the industry. I went away to prison, and when I got out, it was just like this whole new wave of people, talented people, this whole new network. And one of the new groups that formed was the MCDA, and I knew nothing about it. And you were a member of that. You joined, I think, pretty early on, but ended up leaving. What was the MCDA about, and why did you leave?
So when I came back to Michigan, I grew up in Howell, and my dad had just passed away, and my dad was very active in the political community. He would write letters to the governor and stuff about, hey, I want my road fixed, or whatever he would, send letters to. But he was also good friends with the mayor of Howell. And so when my dad passed away, the mayor of Howell was running for re-election, and so I went and had lunch with him. And as we were sitting there talking, he asked me, what had I been doing for the last, 10 or 15 years, and I kind of hesitantly told him that I was, working in cannabis, and he kind of chuckled and said, that's kind of funny because I just got this over my desk yesterday, and it's an ordinance for, licensing of cannabis in Howell, and you should come to the city council meeting tonight and speak, because we need some people that know about the industry. And so with that being said, I did go to the city council meeting, and he introduced me to a cannabis attorney, Denise Policello. At the time, she was putting together the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association, Michigan Cannabis Development Association, MCDA.
So many of them.
Yeah, and so we became board members. We started working towards trying to get some legislation passed that would regulate the dispensaries. But as time went on, I kind of felt like I'm very open to fair competition. I didn't want any type of monopolies. I thought there was room for everybody in this industry, and I kind of felt like the MCDA wasn't fitting with my needs anymore. At that point in time, I'd gotten with Robin Schneider, and we joined the MPRA.
Yep.
And started moving forward with that model. I really felt like they represented more of the people that I was, the more of the caregiver, more of the anti-monopoly, more about having a fair competition, and Robin's about supporting everybody at every level in this, and so I thought that was the right move at the time for us.
Cool. Now I came to you and pitched you on Redemption. It was probably October, November. Things have gone so fast.
Yeah.
What would you initially think? And moving forward, we've come a long ways as far as what we initially talked about doing, to the point where we're going to be reintroducing diamonds to the market together, along with Fresh Coast extracts. So I guess, can you take me through like the three month timeline of that?
Well, when you originally pitched it to me, I knew that this was going to be a good opportunity, right? It's a win-win, I feel, for both of us. I saw it as a way to not only to give back to the community, and the way that you had this rolled out and what you wanted to do, I had a lot of faith that you were going to be able to do that, and that you would do what you said you were going to do. And then you also talked to me about having a say in like how the money's spent, and that's very important to me. I don't like the idea of donating it to a charity that pays a bunch in administrative costs, and that the trickle-down effect doesn't ever get to the people that it's supposed to help, right? Yeah. So knowing that we had a good relationship, knowing that I could trust you, you telling me that I could have a say in it, I just thought it was a win-win. And then the ability to cross-market, for me to have my brand associated with your brand, I think it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, and then I'm super excited about bringing the diamonds back. I think it's a little bit of a game changer, especially as I'm starting to get into concentrates myself heavily, and I really like them. What do you foresee happening with that? It's February right now. Those will be back on the market March 20th. What do you think the reaction is going to be?
I think people are going to be just blown away. Using our Willie's Kush Cake, 32% THC strain. I mean, I can't even imagine what that's going to look like when it becomes diamonds.
Yeah.
We're really stoked and excited to see how that turns out, and we're really happy to be working with Sam up at Fresh Coast, and excited to see what they can do with some of our flower.
Yeah. Now, Willie's Kush Cake, someone we went through and looked at some of your strains. I know you pop all your own seeds, get your own genetics, get addicted to that like myself. I can't wait to start doing that again for fun. But that's a great strain. What's the lineage, and how did that one come about?
Well, it's a seed that we got from some breeders out in California. It was already named before we got it, so the Willie's Kush Cake is the Willie's Cake crossed with the animal mints. It's a cookies variation. We had no idea when we bought the seeds or popped the seeds that we'd find something with that high THC content.
Yeah.
It's not every day that happens.
No.
But with all the breeding that's going on and all the hybrids that are out there, I mean, it's like, there's a winner in almost every pack, it seems. And so it's just a matter of sorting through the genetics and finding stuff that appeals to you for one reason or another. One of the strains that we also got from these same guys was the Hidden Pastry, which is a purple strain that tests in the 20% range.
Yep.
Yields really high. I mean, those are just things you don't typically see with a purple strain.
Yeah.
So, we're always just trying to find things that are unique, things that we like first and foremost, because, we love cannabis. This is what we do. This isn't about just making money or putting products on the market. It's about, making people enjoy what they get to smoke. And when my name's attached to it and your name's attached to it, we're going to make sure that it's good, right?
Yeah, that would be, that's the one thing, when I started this off, you are one of the first growers that I thought about, along with a couple others, and your caregivers that, came up, we're in a building that was a caregiver grow. I go around to people like yourselves, Relief Solutions, Driven Grow. Every square inch that's possible goes into the grow, and I think it's cool and it's funny. You guys have all three have the smallest offices I've ever seen.
Right.
We go to some of the bigger like funded with other people's money type places, and it's the exact opposite. Tell me about the ability to kind of bootstrap everything. Do this. You guys are in charge of your own destiny. We're in a Class A, but just getting to that Class C. How close are you, and what have been the headaches and the successes along the ways?
Well, we feel like we're right around the corner. We have the processor ready to go. We're just finishing up a few things with licensing and Lara. The Class C grow, it's not far off either. It's maybe a few months away, but it's been incredibly tough. We are a grassroots company. We generate our own funds, and so as we've grown, we've allocated as much funds as we can back into the company to try to keep things going and try to remain competitive in the market. It's been incredibly tough, with testing and with the different regulations that have came through. Sometimes test results take 5 to 6 weeks for us to get back. It's really hard to budget moving forward, but we're doing our best. We'll dump every penny we can into that Class C cultivation until it's ready to go, and we have a nice facility up and running and hoping to be able to supply the whole state.
Yeah. What is your kind of your business strategy? Are you guys looking strictly to stick to your Class C grow and processing, expand later on, ever get back in the retail footprint, or what are you thinking as far as 3 years from now?
I really have always been a grower. That's been my main focus, has been my love. Breeding different cannabis, that to me is awesome, to be able to come up with new things that people don't have. I envision myself remaining in the cultivation market. Retail is not necessarily my favorite thing in the world to do, but it's not something that I'm going to say that I won't ever do again. Yeah. I'd love to work from my hometown in Howell. I drive to work every day 45 minutes, and so I'd like to have something closer to home. If that ever comes up, yeah, I'm sure I'll probably be involved.
Yeah. Yep. I'm still waiting for Livingston County,
totally.
Someplace to opt in.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So you've been around Lansing now, been coming here basically every day for years.
Yep.
We've seen from the initial heyday of 2010 to back in 15, 16 when there was 90, 95 stores open, yeah, again. Lansing loves marijuana. I always tell people that. We voted 76% on Prop 1 after they shut down 80 unlicensed shops.
Yeah.
People are okay with it. It's 2020. I feel like we're going to see the biggest moves as far as changing in the professional industry that we've seen. Lounges, grows coming online. We're going to be seeing a lot more stores. What do you think Lansing looks like Christmas time this year?
I hope it's looking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hope to have those consumption lounges up and running. I hope that we see a lot more cultivation facilities on board. Get some more flower out there in the market. Start to see a little bit of a leveling off. Mm-hmm. I feel like right now we're in a situation with shortages across the board. Which makes it incredibly difficult for the patients who this is really all about. Yeah. And so I'd like to see more flower in the market. I'd like to see those consumption lounges. You got a lot of people that live in apartments and things like that cannot just smoke at their house. Right. I'm kind of in that situation. I live in an apartment. I've got a 4-year-old that lives in the house. I can't really just smoke in my house. So I find myself outside, even in the cold of winter, partaking by myself in an uncomfortable environment where it would be a lot nicer to be able to kick back, in the warmth of a room, what I mean, and with some possible entertainment and enjoy cannabis the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's great. What's been the biggest challenge with as far as the regulations so far with the state of Michigan?
It's for me it's been the testing has been a very big complication. They're always kind of changing the standards. Which makes it incredibly difficult to try to game plan. Mm-hmm. As it takes 4 or 5 months from start to finish for a crop, and to have ample notice on how to adjust would be really nice. We haven't really gotten that at this point, and so that's been my biggest gripe is not knowing how to prepare moving forward, not knowing how to budget moving forward. Being a small grassroots company without having big investors, every dollar means something to us. Yeah. And so, my biggest goal is to keep my employees working and keep our company moving forward so that we can be competitive in this industry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Great. with the focus being on the genetics and the breeding, love popping new seeds and new flower, you guys have a specific game plan moving forward as a way to pheno hunt, testing out new things. I'm asking, obviously, I'm wondering as Redemption as well. That's exciting,
Right.
but well, what's the game plan behind that?
Well, first thing we'd have to do is get that Class C completely finished and up and running. And we have to start turning a couple of crops out of there before we can start really kind of messing around with new stuff. As you know, you don't always find a winner,
Yeah.
so garden space is very limited. So we want to make sure we secure our company moving forward with varieties that we know and trust. But I'm very excited to get into that bigger facility because, we should be able to pop off, 100 seeds at a time and really kind of start to really sort through what we got. We've got hundreds of thousands of seeds in stock, ready to roll,
Yeah.
ready to pop and see what we got. And yeah, it's really exciting.
What type of size of rooms for flowering are you going to use over there?
So those are about 40 light rooms.
Okay.
There'll be 40 light rooms. So we're about 150, 160 lights of flowering over there.
Yeah.
Super excited for it.
Yeah. What are you looking for as far as the schedule? Are you going to have it? How many flower rooms, and so I guess how often are you going to be hitting?
So if everything goes as planned, every 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be harvesting out of that facility. And hopefully with that kind of timelines, we'll be able to, kind of negate the whole delays of testing and just keep turning. That's the objective. If you really think about the timelines of testing, they're inconsequential if you're always moving. But if you have long periods of time in between your harvests, that's where it becomes a major problem. The testing timelines, the testing regulations really negatively affect the smaller guys like us more than they do the bigger guys. Some of these bigger guys have ways to remediate flower, sending it through the willow, whatever it might be. Those are things that are out of my budget. And also, to be frank, those are things that are out of my moral scope of what I'm comfortable doing. My company will not be competitive in a world where we radiate everybody's flower.
Right.
My company is based off of growing, top quality flower. Having stuff that tests high, having stuff that has really nice, good flavor and terpenes and smell and bag appeal. Like that's what's going to keep me alive. I can't compete in a world where everybody grows the same stuff.
Right.
So we're a small batch, craft cannabis company, and that's our goal moving forward, is to continue to provide really good flower that just sets itself aside from other people's flower.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed when I'm around you and your team, you guys you can tell you guys are friends, buddies. Tell me a little bit about your team, how far you guys go back and your relationship.
So my team is comprised of people that are my friends from growing up. I've known these guys since we were in high school. These are all guys that have supported this movement as caregivers through the last 8-10 years, and they're guys that I can thoroughly trust. In this industry, it's hard to find people that you can trust, and when you have so much on the line, you have to really know the people that you're working with.
So I know we've talked about it. I talk about it all the time. I'm taking 2020 off, no politics. 10 years of it almost killed me.
Yeah.
You've talked a little bit about the same things. We're not wanting to just get back to business. Maybe just saying, we're both members of CIA. Do your thing, and we'll sit back and do that. How's that going so far? Are you been able to adhere to it and not stay in?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, man.
There's always something that's coming up. And people need to know, how the industry operates to be able to even talk about it, right? And so I have politicians on a regular basis that are calling me up, asking me questions, lobbyists that'll call up and ask me a question about a particular item. And I feel like that I'm a very transparent person. I will give you a straight answer. I will always tell you the truth. And so I think that kind of lights my phone up a little bit more, because people know that when they call me, they're going to get a straight answer, whether or not it's for me or against me. I'll just shoot you straight, But I'll also throw in my opinion there too, so that people can understand that, if they do lobby one way or another way, how it's going to affect me or affect somebody else,
Yeah. So, we passed MMFLA in 2016. We both worked on that in different ways over the years, and they put a board in place. Different government back then. How has the change been for you as far as working with the Lara with the board and then post board?
Well, I was honestly terrified to go up in front of the previous board. You know, I had saw a lot of people getting disqualified for aimless reasons,
Right.
and so you know, when we did go up in front of the board, I swear I was here biting my nails. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then you know, we did end up getting pre-qualified through the board, which was.
Did Johnson and Bailey vote yes?
Bailey nominated me for yes and then voted no. You know, so but I did get the other votes,
Yeah.
and so we were able to get through that. But I am very, very relieved to see that that board is no longer.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we do need oversight in this industry. There's a lot of money being thrown around to a lot of different people to get their influence on the law and the regulations. And so I'm happy to see that we're progressing forward. I'm happy to see that the board was dismantled and we have a new program moving forward that is less biased towards the applicants.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been nice. You know, say what you want. They don't get everything right, but I do trust the integrity
Right.
of it now. That
Yeah.
was a scary time when
It was.
when they were going to decide who to appoint there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we were you know, lobbying for you know, our candidates to be a part of the board, and
Yeah.
obviously that stuff was kind of all thrown to the side, and
Yeah.
they nominated who they wanted, and I don't know if it was for the right reasons or not. I have my own assumptions, but
Yeah.
you know, I definitely think it's better off now.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.